You know, it figures that Chopper has very little screen time, but he's, of course, committing war crimes. It's what Chopper's best at. So, Ahsoka, highly anticipated show, been in the works for what seems like forever, ever since Rosario Dawson appeared in The Mandalorian as Ahsoka Tano. And it's finally here. The season has finally ended, and it's everything I could have wanted. Like, seriously, Disney needs to hand Star Wars over to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. These are two guys who clearly love Star Wars. They know the lore. They know the stories. They know the characters. They know this franchise. And they should be in charge. Anyway, right off the bat, honestly, being full honest, if you did not watch the cartoon Rebels, you're not going to have a clue what's really happening. Because this show is 100% a sequel to Rebels. And I'm okay with that, because Rebels was great. The animated shows in general were great. Rebels, Clone Wars, Bad Batch. But yeah, Ahsoka follows Ahsoka, who's after a star map to Grand Admiral Thrawn. And nobody believes her that he's alive, because at the end of Rebels, spoiler alert, he and Ezra Bridger full-on fight and potentially die. So she enlists the help of Harrison Dula, first time in live action, which is very exciting, played by Elizabeth Winstead. I think she is amazing. Great casting. And as well as Sabine Wren, Natasha Liu Bordizzo, who perfect casting. You know, when she was cast, I was like, who the hell are you? I've never heard of her. But right off the bat, the first, even though the long hair kind of bothered me, it's like, that's not Sabine. You know, it's, right off the bat, the first episode, it's like, oh my god, I love you, you're Sabine. And Ezra Bridger is played by Iman Asfandi, if I'm saying his name right. You know, we see him very briefly in a recording, and then full on when we actually finally find him alive. And, you know, I think he does great as well. We were also introduced to Baylan Skoll, played by the late, great Ray Stevenson. And if this is his final role, I don't know if he has anything in the pipeline that he finished before this that's in post-production, but if this is his final role, he went out on top. He is so good as a Jedi turned Sith. I don't believe he's considered a Sith Lord, but he's in the Sith. He's on the dark side, and he just plays it so well. There's also Shin Hati, played by Ivana Sakno. We're introduced to that character, and she is amazing. Instantly fell in love. I'm like, oh my god, I want to see you kill everybody. Except for our heroes, because seriously, if Sabine died, like, right away, or even in this period, I would have cried. Okay, maybe not cry, but I would have been upset. And when things really, like, get into motion, we get to see Sabine suit up in her Mandalorian gear, grabbing Ezra's lightsaber, and it is just such a cool moment. I'm sitting there, I'm like, hell yes! And I'm just so excited to see her go into battle. And Ahsoka calling her Padawan, loved it. And a line that is said in episode 3, which makes the ending of The Rise of Skywalker truly canon, because a lot of people, they don't consider the newer trilogy canon because they hate it so much. And I can understand. They're not great. But something Ahsoka says, the Force resides in all living things. So everybody has the Force within them. It's just a matter of, do they know how to tap into it and use it? And I think that's great, because eventually Sabine uses the Force, and I'm at the edge of my seat, and I'm legit cheering. My arms are in the air. I'm fucking like, yes! It is so awesome. we get live action Purgle, which is also so cool. And I saw a theory online, which I think is fantastic. In The Mandalorian Season 3, there's one point, Din and Grogu are, traveling at light speed, and Grogu can see the shadow of the Purgle, and he's just staring at them. And when I first watched it, it's like, oh, he sees giant space whale, so he's a child, he's interested. But the theory is he force sensed Ahsoka inside the Purgle, traveling in the Purgle. It's like, oh my god, if that's true, Dave Filoni thought of everything! We also get to see the great mothers of the Night Sisters, and they are creepy as fuck. At one point, we get Ahsoka versus Baylan, and it is a great battle. It's intense, and Ahsoka ends up in the World Between Worlds, which was introduced in Rebels, where she meets Anakin, played by Hayden Christensen. And the de-aging CGI is, sometimes it looks great, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of depends on like of his movements, but overall he looks great. And I'll be the first to admit I hated his performance in the prequels, but I'm kind of glad to see him getting the love he does deserve. But we get to see Anakin versus Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds. We're also taken back in the flashback to the Battle of Ryloth and the Siege of Mandalore, with Ariana Greenblatt as a young Ahsoka battling alongside Anakin. We also get to see Captain Rex, and it's just so cool. Lars Mikkelsen's Thrawn, he is the OG voice from Rebels. He is so good, cool, calm, collected, which makes him scary. And it's just, thank fuck they brought Mikkelsen in to do the character, because I don't know if anybody else could have played him. We're also introduced to night troopers who may be zombie stormtroopers, and C-3PO shows up, and there's a giant reunion of Sabine and Ezra and eventually Ahsoka, and it's just, I need more. I really do. And it was set up for Season 2, which I am so excited for. Ultimately, Ahsoka, Season 1, it's so good. It's everything I could have wanted in an Ahsoka Tano show, in a Rebels follow-up, and it's just so good. If I have any disappointments, it's that, at the final episode, it's teased. So many things are teased for the following season, including Ray Stevenson's Baylan Skoll's future. And unfortunately, we're not going to get that because he passed away. And that sucks. I suppose they could recreate it with AI, but it won't be the same. You're not going to capture Ray Stevenson's phenomenal acting through AI. You're just not. But everybody involved in the show is great. The CGI and effects are amazing. The makeup effects, the practical effects are fucking awesome. Just everything about Ahsoka, I loved. I give Ahsoka Season 1 an A+.
Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.